We are underway.
So we're expecting a great race.
Incredible there, 500.
And that's a race-winning margin.
It's going to be the photo finish.
Hi, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us here today on METV, Manatee Educational Television. I'm Max Winnitz. In just a few weeks, Manatee County and the rest of Florida's Suncoast will be on the world stage. That's because for the first time in 23 years, what is referred to as the Super Bowl of rowing returns to the United States. I'm talking about the 2017 World Rowing Championships. It's taking place in our own backyard at Nathan Benderson Park. A venue that at one time was nothing but a borrowing pit on the side of I-75. Today we're going to be talking about the event, what to expect, how you at home can get involved, and the legacy it will leave on Sarasota and Manatee counties. But first, let's meet our panel. We have Meredith Skirbo with us here today. She is the Executive Director of the 2017 World Rowing Championships. She comes to our area after her tenure as the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Operations for the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission. Also joining us is the Special Events and Programming Manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championships, Julia Hoffman. Julia is a Bowling Green State University grad who studied marketing and business administration. She was also a member of the Lady Falcons golf team. And last but not least, Morgan Skillman, the volunteer coordinator for the 2017 World Rowing Championships, whose resume includes a stint with the Florida Youth Soccer Association. I would be remiss if I didn't say that Morgan was also a member of the Liberty University rowing crew team. So ladies, welcome. First and foremost, Meredith, starting with you, and
Sure.
It's a question for everybody. Less than 2 months to go until this marquee event. Just how excited are you that we are going to be on the world stage here in Sarasota, Bradenton?
Well, you're so right. We're there. 58 days and counting. The excitement is building. You can feel it. You can see it as we continue to develop not only the island, but I think you're going to start seeing a lot of things around the community that's really bringing it to light. So I think we're there. We feel really very prepared as an organization. We feel prepared as a staff. We have not forgotten any of the small things. And I think it's going to be something that this community is going to be very proud of.
Julia, how about yourself? Just how psyched are you for this event?
Oh, to Meredith's point, I feel like we are incredibly prepared as an organizing committee, as a host committee. I really feel the community rallying around us in these last 60 days. It's been incredible, the outpouring of support for our volunteer program that Morgan will speak to in a little bit, as well as our community programming and just overall interest. I mean, we have people coming into our trailer every single day asking, how can we be involved? How can my company be a part of this event? And I'm really excited to see all of that momentum build up and really explode on September 23rd.
And Morgan, how about for yourself and all of your volunteers?
We are so excited to bring this event to this community. And, this event is an international event, but to us, this is a community event. And that's because without this community and these volunteers, this event wouldn't happen. And so, all of our volunteers, they're really coming together. They're embracing this event. They're coming to our events that we're having now. They're helping us in the office. They're doing all kinds of work for us in preparation for this event. And we are just so excited to have everyone get involved, and we're almost there and we're ready.
So Meredith, let's talk about this event as a whole. Obviously, there are a lot of folks in this community in the United States who don't know a whole lot about rowing. So in layman's terms, what exactly is the World Rowing Championship?
Sure, and I think you said it well earlier in the introduction and talking about the Super Bowl of rowing. When you look at it is the event in the world of rowing in the off years of the Olympics. So all the athletes that you just saw in Rio this past summer that were going for the gold will be going for the gold here in Sarasota, Bradenton to prove that they're the best in the world.
And how many athletes, how many spectators are expected to attend the World Rowing Championships?
We're on track to hit, it's about 40,000 visitors that will be coming in over the 9-day period. Out of that 40,000, 1,700 of those are going to be our elite athletes representing right now just shy of 70 countries across the world.
Unbelievable. Literally on the world stage, 70 plus countries. There's got to be a significant economic impact associated with this event. What are some of the early numbers you're hearing right now?
So the early projected number was 25 million, which again is people eating in our restaurants, staying in our hotels, and shopping in our malls, which is it's happening. We are definitely on track to hit that number, to not even potentially exceed it.
Wow. Morgan, 2,000 volunteers are needed for this event. Where are you still looking for those volunteers to work, and just how are things going getting those positions filled at the moment?
So we have about 1,400 volunteers currently. We're still looking to get more volunteers. We have plenty of opportunity for people in all kinds of areas. You know, everyone is uniquely gifted. We all have different talents and skills, and that's one thing that we wanted to use individually. So each person, they can choose their own volunteer positions, which is very special because maybe someone is great at admin work. We have positions for that. Maybe someone is a great people person. We have a position for that. So some of the positions that we are still looking to fill currently are our hotel positions, which are extremely special positions, because this is one of the positions where you'll be interacting most with the teams and the athletes themselves, which is kind of a special thing for an event like this, because these are the elite athletes. You know, you are up close and personal with them. You'll be in the hotels where the athletes are staying. You'll be assisting them with general information about the event, information about transportation, how they get to and from places, also assisting with their hospitality needs. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner times. So you really get that time to spend with them. You really get to support them in a very important way.
And I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are hearing, 70 plus countries are coming to this event. They're staying in our hotels. They're probably going to be speaking different languages. So what are you doing to help those athletes where there may be a language barrier when it comes to volunteers?
So we are looking for translators. We need translators that speak Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, German, Mandarin and Chinese, Russian, etc. We are looking for anyone that speaks a different language fluently so that we can have them as a resource for these different teams on the venue itself. So during the actual event, we will need translators there to assist at our info centers. And we'll also need translators in the hotels as well for those athletes that maybe can't speak English. And that's something that we would love to do for them. It's just to have someone that speaks their native language. So we've reached out to cultural groups to try to have them rally around these teams. Terrific. And really come and support them.
That's great. Switching gears now, Julia, part of your role has been marketing this event through other events and programming leading up to the World Rowing Championships. Just talk about it. I know you could go on for about 20 minutes
That's right.
Discussing each and every detail with some of the events that have already taken place, but talk a little bit about some of the programs and special events that have taken place leading up to where we are today.
Right. And so I guess where I should start is from the very beginning. This whole programming year, community programming year, was Meredith's brainchild right when she came on board. She has extensive experience with large-scale sporting events, and really what makes an event successful in her experience is the rallying of the community. And so we wanted to start this as soon as possible. So I started about a little over a year ago, and so we had our one-year kickoff on September 23rd of 2016, which launched our community programming year.
And I believe we do have some video of the one-year kickoff celebration that we can play, but talk a little bit more about that. It was a fabulous event, very well attended. It
was incredibly well attended. There were about 150 community supporters that came out. We had a countdown clock unveiling that is now a legacy piece at Nathan Benderson Park. It counts down every day. So every day when the staff rolls into work, it just puts it into perspective how close we are and how every hour counts in the day to really, make this a successful event. But just to kind of give you an overview of our community programming year, in January, we partnered with the Sarasota and Manatee County Library System, their One Book, One Community program, and brought the author Daniel James Brown, who is the author of the book The Boys in the Boat, which is an incredible story, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't read it that's planning to come to Worlds or not. It's an incredible story of triumph and heartache and just overcoming all obstacles. But it was a really great way for the community to get an understanding of what rowing is and what we're really trying to accomplish. Some other community events that we're a part of are the Adopt a Team program, which I'm sure we'll speak on a little later. We're bringing 6,000 students from both Manatee County and Sarasota County and partnering with Embracing Our Differences and making this happen, as well as our Row for the Cure event and our eco tours that are taking place across both counties as well.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about some of those programs later. She's complimenting you. She's saying this was your brainchild. So for you to actually see these things become a reality, what has your reaction been?
Sure, and to her point earlier, when I come into an event, that's what I've been trained on. It's more than just about Nathan Minderson Park. It's more than just about rowing. It is about the community at large. And one of the first things I experienced when I moved here, it was pretty clear that there was a lack of understanding of what was the World Rowing Championship and what did this mean to me. I'm not a rowing fan, but how could I be a part of it? And so these programs, we spent a lot of time, a lot of energy into really seeing what made sense for that community. There's no true there's no right or wrong, but we wanted to make sure that we did the right things that made sense for this community, such as the eco tours or the library system. It wasn't about recreating the wheel. It was about taking things that might have already existed and enhancing them. And for the thousands and thousands of people that we've touched over these last 12 months through these programs, is overwhelming. It's overwhelming in the response and the understanding and the excitement that they have gained through under now having a much deeper understanding of what this World Championships is exactly what we set out to do. And hopefully we've left an impression on many, many people, whether they attend the event or not. They've been a part of it throughout this last year.
You have spoken, along with Morgan and Julia as well, to numerous, and that's an understatement, civic and social organizations throughout the two-county area. What do you tell them when they ask you, well, why should I come to a rowing event if I don't know anything about rowing? What is going to be on site that is going to be so intriguing for them to experience?
Sure, and that kind of goes back to a lot of my experience as well. For any of us that have been around different types of events. I didn't come from the rowing community, but at the end of the day, our goal is to expose people to the sport, because I think once they experience it, they're going to be blown away by it. It's a gorgeous sport to watch. These athletes are quite amazing, but to get them to the event, to give them something of great value, we've created a really unique Fan Fest. And the Fan Fest is something that's going to take place all 9 days, starting with the opening ceremonies through the championship day, where there are going to be over 40 plus vendors from locally as well as international and domestic that will be there representing, but they're interactive, so they're fun for your family, they're fun for everybody. In addition to our expo, which is an opportunity for anybody to come out and put their product or their services on display for one day, to come out, and again, it's an experience. So every day of the week, we have a different theme, and each of those themes are something that's more unique to the community. So whether that's our military appreciation, our health and wellness day, or our eco day. So there's something for everybody. So whatever you're interested in, but boating and fishing. Yeah. And then Max, I know you're into that. So that's a really cool way where we're highlighting some of our local boat builders, and you get to come out and check out some really neat things. In addition, there's going to be a really cool Fan Fest stage, so there'll be entertainment, and something that we wanted to capture, especially with our international audience, is we want to embrace the Florida theme and the excitement of sand between your toes, and we keep calling it our cheeseburger in paradise experience. So I think that will be really fun for all that come in, and really something for everyone.
Certainly. Morgan, going back to you now, you mentioned volunteers in the hotels and volunteers who would be translators. What are some of the other positions that you're looking for, and just talk about all the positions, if you will, what people will be doing during the World Rowing Championships.
Okay. So we have a number of different opportunities available on-site, on the island itself, and off-site. So, for example, we have positions open with competition. So if you know about rowing and you love rowing, this is your sport and you want to get involved, we have positions like stake boat holder. We have stake boat holder positions open. We have positions that assist the teams at the docks, so helping with GPS, the bow numbers, things like that. We have positions assisting with athlete weigh-in and boat weigh-in, and those are very special opportunities because you are right there. You are right there with the athletes. You are making this event happen, which is incredibly special and unique. There are other positions that don't require any knowledge of rowing, and if you like to interact with people and you love hospitality, we have hospitality positions open in the athlete area. So if you want to be in competition but you don't really know anything about rowing, that's okay. You can be at athlete dining, and that is a dining area just for the athletes and their support staff, which is a very cool thing. You get to be there, take their lunch tickets, answer their questions, kind of assist them, make sure the area is clean, which is great. We also have volunteer hospitality. So in volunteer headquarters, we have a headquarters where the volunteers will check in. They will, if they haven't already, they'll pick up their apparel and credential. They also have an area where they can sit, relax, put your sunscreen on, and eat some food. We have a hospitality area. We need volunteers to maintain that space. So that is our space for the volunteers to get prepared and take a load off after they are done with their shift. So we need people to maintain that area. We have check-in positions if you want to check in volunteers. We have that available. Golf cart drivers. I know there are some golf cart drivers watching right now. We have those positions open also. Info centers, if you love interacting with people. Info centers where you can answer questions for the spectators, or there's an info center in the athlete area as well, which is more competition, support staff specific information. If you like to do security type detail, we have access control points all over the island. So that's looking at credentials, making sure the person has the correct credential to go into those specific areas. We have positions for the pavilions and the suites that we have available for this event, monitoring those areas. So there are really quite a few opportunities available.
And I often hear you joke to some of these groups you speak to that even if you don't like people, there is something
Yes.
available.
If you love people, we have a position for you. And if you hate people, we have a position for you too.
Well, if you don't mind me adding to this, I think something that's so critical when we say these large-scale events, whether it is a Super Bowl or if it is a World Championships, it doesn't matter. They don't exist without people coming and helping us make this happen. It's 12 staff, but it takes the thousands of people that really make it happen. But I like to always describe them as that they are the first and last people, the front line of defense, as you would like to say, and the fact that they're the first people that our visitors will see, and they're the last people that our visitors will see. So it's really important that we have the right people to share that hospitality.
And Morgan, I know you've often said that, to echo what Meredith just said, that volunteers are the backbone of this event.
Yes,
Absolutely.
they're absolutely the backbone of this event because 12 people can't put on this event.
That's right.
And I'm going to rely heavily on my volunteers to make it all happen, checking people in, making sure everyone's all right. And that's something that I love about volunteers, is that they do this because they want to. They do this because they want to get involved and they want to be a part of something incredibly large like this. This is an incredibly special event to have here. And we want to make sure we include this community. And we include people from all over the world as well.
Yeah. Julia, we talked about some of the events you've worked on leading up to the championships. There's one event we did not touch on yet, and that is the opening ceremony.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on with that, why people should come out, and just how exciting that initiative is going to be.
Right. So our opening ceremony is similar to what you'd see on an Olympic ceremony. It really sets the tone for the rest of the week. We have engaged a couple of different groups to be a part of this. The West Coast Black Theater Troupe, Pedro Reese and the Circus Arts Conservatory will be a part of it, Sarasota Contemporary Dance, as well as the Pops Orchestra. Really, it couldn't have been done without Jim Shirley and the Sarasota Arts Council Alliance, Sarasota Arts and Arts Council. Sorry. So it really couldn't have been done without him and his group putting this together. Sue Brady is the producer for the entire opening ceremony. We're projected to have about 5,000 spectators. It's a free event, so come out and check it out. We have an exciting firework display following it, and so it's a great way to just take your family out, experience our Fan Fest and Expo Center, as Meredith said. Come check it out. It's our family-friendly day or family fun day, and so it's just a really great opportunity to have a fun family night out with rowers in the background that are still training.
Free and non-ticketed,
correct? Yes, you are right on that.
So, and just to build on that, it's all afternoon. To your point, it's a family day. There's inflatables, there's things for kids, there's stage entertainment. But again, going with the fact that this is our chance to be able to showcase to the world who we are as a community in Sarasota and Manatee counties. So it's taking those local talents and putting them on the world stage, to your point earlier. And I think it's really going to give people a better sense of who we are and why we're so proud to be where we're from.
And the local talent, I've heard you say in the past, they are sharing the story of this area with the world, correct?
They are. Through an entertainment structure, they'll be telling a story about the community.
So let's talk about Nathan Benderson Park, Meredith. Why did this park get chosen for this event, and just how, in your mind, how fabulous of a venue is it?
Yes, I like to compare it to the fact that it's, for golfers out there, there are multiple golf courses, thousands and thousands of golf courses across the world, and each are very unique and different, but you all like them for a different reason. And that's very similar to a rowing venue as well. We've been to quite a few across the world, and there might be one at the bottom of the Alps, there might be one, but there's none that really mimic what they've been able to create here at Nathan Benderson Park. And the fact that it's wide open, the best space for spectators, and the fact that you can see it from start to finish, which makes it very spectator friendly. And to think the fact that the reason that it hasn't been here in 23 years is because there is no other venue anywhere in North America that meets the standards, which is a grade A course, to be able to host an event of this nature. So really, we have a gym right here in our backyard, and many people don't even know about it. And
when people hear FISA grade A course, FISA again is the governing body over rowing, AKA World Rowing.
Correct. So they are the ones who are the owners of this actual event. Just like the Olympics, you have to go out and bid on these different things that exist. So under FISA's regulations, they have World Cup 1, 2, 3, and then the World Championship. They also manage the Olympics as well, again, on that fourth year. So they were able to go out, and kudos to the groups in both Manatee and Sarasota County that came together to put this bid together and who had the vision to build this magnificent park. And as you continue to see it building out with the new finish tower, it is truly state-of-the-art. It's truly one of the best venues in the world. And as we kept being told everywhere we went across the world, it's America's premier course, and that's exactly what it is.
You mentioned the Finish Tower. The Finish Tower, one of the places where people can watch the World Rowing Championships. VIP tickets in that Finish Tower. Talk about those and some of the other ticket options that are available right
Sure, and even before I get to ticketing, it's a very common question that I receive, and I'm sure you guys do too, is what is the Finish Tower and what is its purpose? And the Finish Tower itself is kind of what the best way to describe it is the nucleus of the competition. Each floor serves a purpose, whether that's the jury that's watching over the finish line to ensure they know who crosses first, to the timing system and Swiss timing, to the commentary and video cameras, and also the FISA's World Office where they delegate everything that's going on. So it serves as truly the nucleus of what's going on the competition side. However, we carved out one of the floors on level 2, which has a really nice balcony that has grand visuals right to the finish line, as well as indoor and outdoor, so you can have a little air conditioning. That is where our VIP hospitality ticket location will be. So you have the ability to purchase tickets daily. They're $125, but it's all free food and beverage, including alcohol, and probably one of the best views in the house. In addition, we again tried to capture the things that were really great about our venue. We have a nice, huge grandstand that's covered. It keeps you out of the sun as well at the finish line to the left of the finish tower. In addition to our beach seats, which you cannot see anywhere in the world other than ours. So we keep telling people to come out, put your feet in the sand, and order a drink because they're going to serve it to you right there on the beach. So those are, really great options, as well as our general admission pavilion, which is on the west side of the course, and it is right on the other side of the course in the finish line, which you'll be on TV. So anybody who's looking to make their debut, that's a great place to be. Or also, of course, we have our great hospitality option is our corporate suites on Championship Row. So those allow for people to be in there. They purchase them for the whole week. 40 tickets per day, so it gives you a total of 320 tickets where you can be in the air conditioned, you can talk to you can entertain clients, you can entertain your staff, anything that you want to do, but it's a really great hospitality option.
And the beach seats, I don't think a lot of people realize, even if they frequent the park, that there is actually a strand of white sand beach.
Absolutely, there is, and it's prime location to the finish line as well.
Morgan, back to you. I know you've worked on other events with volunteers in the past, but where does this kind of rank compared to some of the other ones?
So some of the other events I've worked on is college athletics. So I worked with a group of about 100 volunteers there. That was similar to this event. This event is a grand scale for volunteers. This is an awesome event because we need volunteers in every area. And so, that's unique, because usually in events you have volunteers for ticketing or volunteers for hospitality, but maybe your access control, that's paid staff or something like that. The volunteers for this event will be in every single area, in every single department. So something that we've done is we've met with every department and said, okay, what are your needs? Where do you need volunteers? Where can we get people plugged in? And it's very special. So for Julia, for opening ceremonies, she has quite a few opportunities for volunteers to assist with opening ceremonies. And that is an amazing opportunity. If you're interested in doing something with production, that is an option for you. And we're still looking to fill those positions as well. This is definitely my favorite event that I've ever worked on.
So why is it so rewarding so far?
Because of the community impact, because of our reach. It is an international event, and that's extremely special. So we have volunteers from all over the world, from Germany, from Italy, from the UK, Russia, Japan. They're coming from all over to participate in this event. I've been able to speak to plenty of groups in this community, and every group I speak to, I get more plugged into the community, and I love the people I've met. They're incredible volunteers. Carrie is a volunteer that works in our office, and we really appreciate her. So if you're watching, thank you, Carrie, for all your time. You help us so much. I've met a few people over and over when I go to these different events, and it's exciting to explain, what this is, and them to get it, and they go, oh, "This is incredible." And then get them involved, get their business involved. We have corporate volunteering opportunities available, and we have quite a few groups that are coming on board to own a certain day in one area. So it's an experience that you can have as an individual, as a volunteer, or as a group. You can bring your group and volunteer.
It's a great team building experience for corporations.
Absolutely.
Working together with your team.
Absolutely.
With your staff.
It's an opportunity to really come together as a local community to make something international happen. And it's special to learn about all these different people in this community that do big things for this event. So many people in this community are making this happen. They've come alongside us and said, you know what? we can make this happen for you. And we really appreciate that. That's very special and something that I have just loved seeing as we plan this event.
Yeah. You talked about opportunity. Let's talk about an opportunity, Julia, for thousands of school students throughout Sarasota and Manatee counties. This initiative, for the audience watching right now, this is Manatee Educational TV, so this is near and dear to many of the viewers' hearts. Adopt a Team, you talked about it a little bit earlier, but what exactly are these students doing now, and what are they going to be doing during the World Rowing Championships?
This program is an incredible vision that I personally have really enjoyed see grow wings and come to life. Meredith as well has obviously had a vested interest, and Morgan too from a volunteer perspective. It's really been a team effort. Our operations team, members of the community really coming together to make this happen. So just an overview of what the students are to expect and what this program is there's 6,000 total kids that are a part of it. Embracing our differences, the local nonprofit organization has come on board to partner with us, and similar to their art exhibit, there is going to be an art exhibit on site. So there was a teacher workshop a couple months ago. The teachers picked their countries. They went back to their students. They taught them a curriculum based in diversity and inclusion, as well as the favorite food of the country or the language, those fun aspects. And the children created a visual art piece, a visual representation of what they learned and what they took away from those lessons. And those art pieces also integrated rowing, so a rowing shell or an oar or the nation's flag, things like that. And I believe there's about 51 countries that are represented that are going to be displayed in the parking lot at Nathan Benderson Park.
The art pieces are going to be blown up, correct?
Yes. So on
20 feet tall.
Huge. You cannot miss them. It's an amazing way to honor the teams that are coming, as well as expose the children to a world-class event. So the second piece of this program is, the students learned about the country in their classrooms. They made the artwork. The artwork is going to be displayed. Now there's a field trip piece included in it. So all 6,000 kids are going to be attending the World Rowing Championships on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to watch world-class rowing and be a part of our Fan Fest and meet our volunteers and just really, have this experience. And we're bringing the world to them so that they don't have to go and travel to all 70 countries.
What do you think the students are going to take away from that experience, even having perhaps the opportunity to meet a rower or a coach from the countries that they just learned about?
Right. And to your point, that's another great part about this program is, if Great Britain is coming, the school that learned about Great Britain, there's going to be a representative from Great Britain's delegation that's going to come and talk to them, as well as the cultural groups that Morgan had mentioned earlier. So someone local in our community. So we're going to be creating that intergenerational cultural experience for these students, and many of them might not even know what a passport is, things like that. So they're going to understand what it's like to experience different cultures that's different than our own, and hopefully embrace that and take that with them moving forward, that diversity and inclusion and understanding of people that are different than ourselves.
And if I could add to that, I think when we were really starting to put this together, how many times do we all take for granted that we were able to go outside of our state, let alone outside of our country? And there are a lot of young people in our communities that never get that chance. And we didn't want to miss the opportunity as we're bringing the world to them. Is that something that they'll probably never forget? This is something that they will get a chance to be a part of and talk about for years to come. And hopefully we will impact 6,000 plus young people and help them understand there's this big bad world out there and really seek some really go after some big things in life.
Julia, I know you also worked with another group of students from Riverview High School during the Sarasota Film Festival to put together this amazing promotional video, which we do have. Tell me a little bit about the initiative involving the Sarasota Film Festival and the fact that you were able to bring down the director of this fabulous documentary on women's rowing.
Right. So as part of the community programming year that we had, we did a partnership with the Sarasota Film Festival, and we brought this documentary called Dare to Be to the Sarasota Film Festival, directed by Adam Rice, who is an amazing, amazing man, director, incredibly talented, but it follows women through rowing. And, you know, with rowing being sort of a male-dominated sport, this was a really unique opportunity to highlight women's journeys through their rowing careers. Some stopped at high school, others made it to college, some even made it to the Olympic trials. But just it really gave an amazing visual representation of what it takes to be an elite athlete. You know, you hear these rowers, they eat 10,000 calories a day and they spend 10 hours a day on the water, but it's different when you get to experience it in a movie theater as opposed to just, you know, hearing one of us talk about those statistics.
Right, and what you're seeing right now is that video that the Riverview High School students in Sarasota put together, which played before the premiere of Dare to Be. They used the Sarasota Scullers for that piece. It turned out terrific.
It's incredible. So incredible.
Yeah. Meredith, staying on the topic of kids a little bit, I know a very popular thing or animal, if you will, with the kids has been this guy right
It
here.
has indeed. Scully.
Tell us a little bit about Scully, how he became to be, and what you guys are experiencing when you bring him out to any sort of event taking place in the community.
Sure. So a little backstory on this is because, as you can imagine, as a European based event and our governing body, FISA, being based out of Switzerland, mascots are very much an American thing, and as you know, we like them, we love them, we incorporate them in everything we do, but they've been a fun outlet for us to get some messages across and connect the dots with an image. And as you guys know, on our logo, there's a nice pelican on there, so that's how the design of Scully came about. And it was actually the people of the community that named him. And so it was a little bit of a challenge originally to get our governing body to agree to allowing us to even have a mascot, but now that he's in existence, and now that he's been created, they are in love with him as much as we are. And as you can tell, you can have a little take home and purchase a little take home Scully for the kids or grandkids or whoever might want to be. But he's a fun character. He's got plenty of personality. If you do see him in person, he's a gigantic bird. But he's been a really fun avenue for us to use through marketing initiatives. To your point, Max, and you've done a lot of events with him, and whether that's going to our hotels and he gets to sit by the pool and sip a drink, or he's going to be at some of our catering and restaurants and different events that you can see here and interacting at the Moat Aquarium or other things. But he's just a fun, interactive way outside of the normal faces that you're seeing at this table. It's just a really, people just flock to him.
Yeah, this was right next door to Moat. This is Save Our Seabirds, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to get a pelican together with his family and friends that are rehabilitating at this wonderful facility in Sarasota. But this was certainly a great experience for all involved. And of course, the name Scully, based on the word skull, which is what rowers practice and train in.
That's right. Yeah, and sculling is single. Yeah.
Morgan, again, this job for you, I can only imagine at times it can be, a bit frustrating dealing with 2,000 plus people. But what do you think you're really going to take away from this?
I think I'm going to take away just how special it is and how unique it is to have such a large group of people gathered around one event, rallying around one event. I've worked with multiple smaller events where it's reoccurring. So we have an event Friday and Sunday and the next Wednesday and the next Friday, and you have volunteers that volunteer for each one. This is one event that we're preparing for, that we are working to make it the most successful World Rowing Championships yet. That is our goal. And so I will take away just how to rally people, how to get people excited around something that's going to happen once. Because some of them aren't involved right now. There are a handful of people that are involved now, but how do we keep people excited? How do we get people to want to be involved and give of their time and their energies and use their skill to make this a successful event? How do we make them prepared? How do we make them feel comfortable with what they're doing? Because we will need people to do things they're familiar with and unfamiliar with.
And as the only rower here at the table, just talk about the sport as a whole and just how challenging it is. But to see these men and women do it, how incredible is that?
So this for me is such a fun job because I was a rower in college. I was a stroke for the women's 8 and the women's 4 and a coxswain for the men's 8 and the men's 4. So there was a lot going on for me during the regattas. But this is so special. It's such a great event because these athletes work very hard. They are up at the crack of dawn. We actually had practices at 5 a.m. every morning before we went to classes. And then we had practice after class in the afternoon as well. They eat a lot. Rowers eat between 6,000 and 10,000 calories a day because you burn it. It's a full body workout. So one thing that a lot of people think if they don't know the sport, they go, oh, your arms must be so strong. But you know what? It's your entire body because you're in a seat that moves. So you're in a seat and then you push with your legs, you lean, and you use your arms. So it's a full body workout that's extremely trying and difficult. Mm-hmm. So someone said to me once, when they found out I was a rower, they're like, oh, you must be a glutton for punishment. But we love it, right? We love it. We live for that. It's a bonding experience.
Well, Meredith and I, full disclosure, did the Learn to Row course at Nathan Benderson Park. Meredith knocked it out of the park, excuse the pun, but I flipped the first time.
Oh, no.
But,
Takes a lot of
You did it with grace. You did it with grace. So funny.
But like you said, I mean, you just get all the respect just after getting in a boat, and I'm sure you can attest.
Absolutely.
For these men and women who do it is unbelievable.
Well, especially when you don't really realize how narrow the boats are, and you sit on it, and it's barely, I'm not 5'2", and these athletes are 7 feet tall, 6'10", average.
6'10".
And so when you think about them getting in these small little boats and trying to stay balanced, and I think the way I was able to connect with it is it's almost like the oars are your training wheels, and you hold on, and that's what keeps you straight. But it's a lot of concentration. Like to your point, the movement and the full body, it's an intense workout.
And
it's so much respect.
The coxswain is...
Just for the folks who don't know, what is a coxswain?
A coxswain is the person that is not rowing in the boat. They're usually a very small person. They want this person to be very light. And what they do is they motivate the crew. So, for example, I was the coxswain for the men's 8 and 4. And so I sat there, I steered the shell, as well as you're watching. You're watching as they row. What are their oars doing? Are they balanced? Are we leaning a certain way? Is your oar slapping against the water? So it's really focusing them on their technique, its strategy. When do I have them do a power 10 to try to get ahead of the crew next to me? The coxswain is extremely important to the rowers as well as the rowers themselves. Mm-hmm. Yep, they're the leaders, they're the motivation, they're the ones that keep them in line.
So, Mayor, Morgan mentioned the 6,000 to 10,000 calories that some of these rowers consume. I'm sure a question you often get from the community is, where are all these people going to be eating, and how is that possible? So talk a little bit about the caterers that have come on board and what they're doing.
Yeah, that's an actual key piece to our business here. The athletes were required to serve meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, not only for the 9 days of competition, but for the extended period of time when they come for pre-training. So we have been very blessed with the partnerships with Milan Catering, Fett Catering, Paul Madison's, as well as Der Dutchman, as our 4 catering companies that have come on board. They are for many people, they don't realize that all the hotels that we're using, not all of them are full service. So for the ones that are not full service, these catering companies are literally going in and creating temporary kitchens and facilities to serve those 6,000 to 10,000 calories. And not only just about calories, but about healthy and culturally sensitive meals that they have to produce for them in that ability in that time frame. So there's a lot of moving parts, but a really huge kudos to those groups because they are putting a lot of work and a lot of energy into figuring out how much of everything between fruit and bread and all the carbs that these athletes eat, how they're going to be able to maintain that, and they're doing a heck of a job.
Well, you talked about hotels. How were the hotels in this community recognized? A lot of people have asked me, are there enough hotels for rowers and spectators? I know you have teamed up with an event company called HBC Event Services. What have they done for the World Rowing Championships?
Sure. So for an event of any magnitude in this magnitude, there's two components. There's, of course, your athlete hotels as well as your spectator hotels. And in our case, spectators are not allowed to stay with athletes. Those are specific to them. So we have 27 team hotels and an additional 24 spectator hotels in addition to people that are renting out their homes and condos for the week, because a lot of our guests are not coming just for a week, they're coming for a whole month. As they say, they're coming out here for holiday. So it's really nice to know that they're going to continue to stay here in the region, and we have this great chance to expose them to everything that we're about. But the hotels themselves, HBC contracts with the hotels, makes sure that everything is being facilitated. So all the teams are going through HBC and the spectators to book their hotels. So there's different price classes for everybody. So even though the rowers themselves, they all have different budgets. So whether they're from a big country or a small country, they're able to find something that meets their needs.
Julia, there are 3 regattas taking place during the World Rowing Championships, or I should say after competition on those days. One is a youth regatta, another is a regatta that is welcoming some of the all-time great U.S. rowers.
Yep.
But there's a regatta on October 1st that I'd like you to talk about that really would hit home for a lot of women. What is Row for the Cure?
So Row for the Cure, unfortunately, all of us have been touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form. And what better way to close out the World Rowing Championships than with a Row for the Cure supporting our local Susan G. Komen. So once the flag comes down and the World Rowing Championships for 2018 flag is passed to the next host committee, everything is going pink. So our FanFest area and our expo is geared towards women and breast cancer awareness, women's health in general. And on the on-water portion of it, we have rowing sculls, AHLs, we have dragon boats, and we also have kayaks. So we're gonna have 3 different heats of groups of people that can come out, support our local Susan G. Komen, and be a part of a great cause and an end to the World Rowing Championships.
And this is October 1st, the first day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
What a great coincidence.
So again, all of the money raised from the entry fees going directly to breast cancer research at Susan G. Komen.
Yep.
It's a win-win.
And it's all staying locally in our community. It's all being donated to our local Susan G. Komen, which then the citizens and the spectators that are a part of this, they will see the effects of that money staying local.
And how can people sign up for Row for the Cure?
So there's a specific spot on our website. If you go to WRCH2017.com under Get Involved, and there's a whole link that has our registration site. As part of your entry fee, you are guaranteed all of your equipment, so your paddle and your life preserver, as well as a participation medal, a T-shirt, and just the chance to row on the America's premier course. I mean, outside of that, I don't know when other people would have that opportunity while the course is still under FISA standards.
Morgan, will this event and the other 2 ancillary regattas I talked about require volunteers?
Yes, we do need volunteers for all of those events. So if you're interested, you can sign up for those as well. Registration, check-in, some regatta competition positions as well. So those are definitely positions we are still looking to fill.
Meredith, with the few minutes we have remaining, What has been the biggest challenge so far for you working this event?
Well, this is the first time I think you mentioned earlier on. I've only lived here for about a year and a half, so really taking and coming into a brand new community where I knew no one, trying to embrace embrace both communities, both Sarasota and Manatee County. I actually live in Manatee County, but as we all know, the park's in Sarasota County. So being able to pull all of these relationships together and taking a really big vision and taking a bid that was put together by a group of people 5 years ago and trying to make it come true. And I think it's a lot of small challenges that kind of build up into one big ball. But I think what's been the most fun, this is what I love, is watching how everything starts falling into place like a puzzle. And it starts with the people, it starts with the team. I think that we've assembled a really, really dynamic team with lots of different expertise. I think we've partnered that with the great strengths of the people of the community that have come and volunteered their time, even beyond the on-site volunteers. But we have what we call a local organizing committee, which is made up of about 100 people at this point in time that have all brought their local expertise and not just a skill set, but the community itself, and helped engage us as a staff and helping our dreams come true, our visions come true. Without them, so it's been a real big assembly of a lot of people, and it's just kind of a kumbaya moment, but bringing them all together and sharing in the same vision, because every one of us, the community as well, have the same vision of what we want this to look like in 58 days.
In your speaking engagements and going around the community, do you get the sense that the community members are embracing this event?
I do. I absolutely do. I think, again, there was quite a bit of time where there was just, again, a lack of knowledge and not really understanding and not realizing that you didn't have to be a rower to understand, first and foremost, the park. The park is so versatile. I'm not a rower. I have started to dabble in it a little bit myself, but just to go and run around the park. And so it's very unique for people to be a part of that. So it's just kind of expanding their thought process. And once they hear what this is all about, they're like, oh, okay, now I get it. So it's not just rowing. It's really about a really unique experience that we get to be a part of. And not only that, but we're showcasing on TV, international television, as well as domestic television stations, to showcase to the world who we are as a community.
Well, what are some of those concerns you're hearing from community members? I assume it's traffic, parking, noise. What are you telling them when it comes to those three specific topics, traffic, noise, and parking?
Sure. So number one was traffic. That was the very first thing I kept getting faced with every speaking engagement I went to. And the best way to say it is the fact that it's going to be either the exact same or even probably a little less than what you experience in season. Many of all of our athletes are being transported by charter bus. So you're going to see an influx of buses coming around, but not in a way that would be a frustration or anything of that nature. The Diverging Diamond has been a great addition. I'm glad it opened early. Thank you to FDOT for making that happen, because it's allowed our local community to get on there, kind of flush it out, figure it out, and then it will be that much easier once we have our guests that come in. But traffic should not be something you should be fearful of whatsoever.
And the fact that competition is really going from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., so it's not in those rush hour
Exactly.
hours.
If you're trying to get to work or get your kids to school, we won't be affecting you. It's really, we've really worked really hard with FISA to determine those hours so that we weren't interfering with the community life.
Okay.
Parking itself, if any of you have ever seen the circus that comes out right there behind UTC Mall, there are over 3,000 parking spaces available for us to put all the parking to be right there at the north side of our lake. Then you could have a beautiful walk where you see some brand new palm trees that were just put in to give some shade as people walk over to the grand entrance of the venue. So $5 to park, and that is, it's an easy walk, but if you don't want to drive, you can take public transportation, which working with MCAT as well as SCAT and putting together, you can buy a pass to get right over to the SCAT drop-off that's like 200 yards from the entrance. You can bike. There's lots of bikeability. There's going to be bike parking on site. And also Uber and Lyft. If you're an Uber or a Lyft, go and use that. There's going to be a special place to drop off and pick up for those. So it's really, really becoming an easy way to get in and out.
And other than the fireworks during opening ceremony, are there any other issues revolving around noise that the public should be aware of?
No, I think that of course, there's going to be some cheers during some hours, but they're really during the daytime hours. Where the only evening event that's happening at the actual park is opening ceremonies. So that would be the one night, again, free to the public, a spectacular you don't want to miss, and it's something that will be the only evening event. The rest of the noise you'll hear is maybe a few cheers or roars through the stands during that 10 to 3 time frame every day.
And let's hope Morgan's fabulous volunteers do a great job with assisting with the parking and the traffic as well.
I'm confident in them. They are going to be amazing, and we appreciate them so much.
So, Morgan, how do people sign up to volunteer? What do they have to do?
So as a volunteer, you will go to wrch2017.com/volunteers, and you will see an orange button. It says Start Here. That button will take you to our registration site. In the registration site, you will see all of the different positions we have. So it'll say Athlete Village, and then it will list all of the positions under Athlete Village and the specific shifts that are available. Each volunteer is required to work a minimum of 3 shifts per volunteer. That can be throughout the week. So it could be 3 different positions, 1 shift each. It could be the same position, 3 shifts. You can choose when you want to volunteer. So if it's all in one day, great. If you want to spread it out every few days, or if you want to volunteer every day, you can do that as well. And we love, getting you involved to the level you want to be. So if you want to be extremely involved, we can get you extremely involved. There's also 1 training session that is required for each volunteer. So when you register, you're required to pick 1 training session. These will be August 30th, September 7th, and September 9th. So 1 training session and 3 shifts per volunteer. And as a volunteer, which is very fun, some of the perks, you'll get apparel. So you'll get t-shirts that have our logo on it. It'll say event staff. They are very pretty, nice and orange. So we're excited about that. You'll get a hat as well as a cinch bag and a little survival kit. So that has sunscreen, hand sanitizer, and some lip balm for you. So you stay.
They will need it.
Yes, you'll need it. So you'll stay protected from the sun, and we'll have you all set throughout the event. You will also get a credential. So that credential will get you in all the areas you need to go in when you work, as well as on the days you're not working, you can go and watch the event for free, which is an amazing perk for our volunteers.
Fabulous. Well, ladies, in the 2.5 minutes we have left, I just want to get final thoughts from each of you as, again, we are getting closer and closer to this marquee regatta. So Meredith, your final thoughts.
Sure. This is an exciting time. For a 1.5 years, we've been talking about and planning and thinking through all the logistics, and now it's time for it to actually take place. And activation is what we say. We're in that activation phase. So this is what event planners live for, is watching the vision and the things that they worked so hard for come to fruition. So we really hope that the community that's watching out there today will come and be a part of the excitement that we're feeling, and we're feeling all over the world. I was just in Lucerne, Switzerland a couple weeks ago for the final World Cup, and that's all they could talk about was Sarasota, Florida, Sarasota Manatee, Sarasota Manatee, Sarasota Manatee. So it was really exciting to hear our name being on the top of every language that I heard. So love to have you guys come out, share in the excitement, and help us create 40,000 new ambassadors of our community. And we can't do that without you.
Julia, how about yourself?
Just to echo Meredith's level of enthusiasm, this event has meant so much to us as a staff, but also to the community, and it's been incredibly rewarding to be here from, a little over a year ago, but watch all of the people connect the dots now. They're like, oh, you work with Meredith, or oh, you work with Morgan, or oh, Max is like the celebrity of our office, so oh, you work with Max Winitz. So it's really incredibly exciting to see all of the people standing behind us and ready to support us. And, to those who are watching, thank you so much for, giving us the time to inform you about our event, and we're really excited to see you in 58 days.
Morgan, 30 seconds.
So we just want to thank everyone who's making this happen for us. The whole community, like Julia was saying, it's incredible to watch everyone come together and make this event happen. And our volunteers, we appreciate all the time that you put in. Thank you so much. We're going to make this happen with you, and it is a pleasure and an honor to work with this community, and we are excited for this event.
All right, well, ladies, thank you very much. This was a terrific discussion here today. Thank you at home for tuning in. If you'd like any information on the 2017 World Rowing Championships, just head on over to the website. It's WRCH2017.com. There you can purchase tickets. As Morgan mentioned, you can sign up to volunteer, and you can learn everything there is to know about this marquee event coming to our wonderful community. For Morgan Skillman, Julia Hoffman, and Meredith Skirba, I'm Max Winitz. We look forward to welcoming the world with you from September 23rd through October 1st at Nathan Benderson Park. So long, everybody.
I row for the glory of becoming a champion.
I row for the devotion I have to every person on my team.
I row to get quiet and focus on the sound of my breath.
I row to test the limits of my endurance.
I row for the feeling of 8 moving as one.
I row for the feeling of crossing the finish line.